Just want to point that out because that'll be going back in a box in a minute. It doesn't belong to me. Just want to show it to you. Oh my God, it's going back in a box. But while it's there, let's just fantasize about owning it for a minute.
Hi there, I'm Marisa Bate, and today I'm joined by the absolutely legendary Dawn Friend.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Very true. Hello, thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I could talk to you about 1,000 things, but today we're talking about your new book.
Yes, this book.
Me, You, a Diary.
Yes.
For people who haven't seen it, can you kind of explain a little bit what it is? Because it's not a straightforward anything.
No,
is it?
it isn't. And I have found it hard to find the right words for it. And that's probably quite a good thing because it probably means there isn't anything quite like it, which is a good thing. But it means there aren't any bite-sized chunks I can tell you to describe it. But anyway, first of all, it is a book that I decided to write because I turned 60 this year, and I thought, thank you, and I thought that instead of writing a novel this year, I will write a kind of celebratory book that is definitely a kind of gift from me to the reader. So I thought, how can we kind of be together for a year? And I personally keep a diary. I don't mean a kind of journal writing every single feeling I've got about everything diary, but I like a paper diary, and I write my appointments in it. I write quotes from things. I steal stuff out of newspapers and sellotape it in. I put pictures of my kids, my dog, somebody who might have died that year that I want to remember, someone else that's inspired me. So I make every diary that I have quite scrapbooky, and along with writing on top of everything. Sometimes I write on pages where there is already writing. That's how I am, and that's what helps me creatively. So I've tried to invent a book like that. And so in this book, I've written 4 pieces about the seasons, which is a kind of metaphor for different ages. And I've tried to write about things I know for certain, things I've still got questions about, and things that have occurred to me might be useful for other people to know. And then I've written 12 pieces about the months. And I've tried to slightly theme those around the kind of things that happen in those months. Like, for instance, March, I have written about mothers, and because of Mother's Day and so on. But rather than anything cheesy about mothers, I've tried to write about my role as a mum and how difficult I found it, and the challenges of it, and being a stepmother and stuff like that.
You're very honest in this. It almost feels part memoir-y. There's some beautiful pictures. Old pictures of you and your father. It's very moving. Did you feel you wanted to be honest in a way to kind of share with your readers?
I think I did decide that, but I don't think I consciously decide anything like that, really. I think it's just who I am now. I've arrived at this age, and I'm grateful to be this age, and I feel like I know some stuff. Not entirely sure of some things, but the stuff I do know, I want to impart to other people, and I want to think about how I arrived at some of those places, and I want to share it. So I have found, certainly in the stand-up show that I did a couple of years ago, that the stories I can tell the best are my own stories, and if they are true for me, it's more than likely that they're true for other people.
Absolutely.
And nothing particularly odd has happened in my life. The stuff that's happened to me or that I've been through, both the joys and the griefs and all the other things that have happened, are only what happened to most of us. So if I tell my truth, it's likely it will resonate with you and your truth, even though you're at a different part of your life.
Well, absolutely, and I really felt that reading it, and especially with your lists.
Yes.
I really enjoy all the lists. I mean, I love the fun lists about the men.
Yes.
But I also, there was, in one of your lists, it said something about how others' successes are not your own personal failings.
That's right.
And I think for our Instagram crazy world of everyone always looking at each other and comparing each other, that really was quite powerful for me.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to learn that?
Definitely. I was just going to say that. I put a little poem in here. So it's a 3-line poem, and it goes like this. I moved my chair into sun. I sat in the sun, the way hunger is moved when called fasting. So you think, okay, there's 3 lines. What does that mean? I move my chair into the sun. It means I'm actually going to change my mind. I'm going to get out of the darkness and I'm just going to move my life a little bit into some sunshine. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to sit in that sun and feel what it feels like to be lighter, brighter, happier, all of those things. And I'm going to follow that 3rd line, which is the way hunger is moved when called fasting. It's not hunger. You are making decisions. You are owning it. You are controlling it. You decide how you live. And so if you're fasting, you're rather pleased to be fasting if you've decided to.
There's a purpose.
But there's a purpose,
yeah.
and you're in charge.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, you can change your mind about things. Why don't you, instead of going, oh, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, why don't you think, hey, I'm busy. How great.
Absolutely.
How great. I might be a bit tired, but, I could change that if I want to. But I'm tired. How wonderful. I'm going to bed tired because I've had such a happy, good, fulfilled day. It's possible to change your mind about stuff.
And I think that it's so lovely you bring up that poem, because to me that really epitomises the experience of this diary memoir, because you take on the difficult things that have happened and you're showing how you continue to move forward.
That's right.
And another one of the list things that really struck with me that I'd love to talk to you about is women are mighty.
Yes.
And it's 3 words,
yes.
and there's a lot of words in that book.
Yes.
But these 3 words really, and I think a lot of women look to you as a mighty woman.
Well, I wouldn't quite know how to take that
I know
mantle.
that's not an easy thing to hear, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who thinks that.
Well, that would be nice.
We're in a really interesting time for women.
We are, we are.
Women are, we've gone from the Women's March at the beginning of the year,
yes.
and we've just ended with this incredible Time magazine, Silence Breakers. It's been a year of women in one way or another.
Yeah, game-changing year, really. Yeah.
What's it been like for you to watch this change?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't wish, it's like anything that's difficult, isn't it? I wouldn't wish for women to have had to go through the things they did so that they had to whistle blow and speak out in this way. That shouldn't have happened, and somebody needs to apologise and somebody needs to pay for that. However, it does mean that if you're going to move your chair into the sun in a moment like this, you're going to take from that experience whatever you can do to have a sea change from now on. From now on, we are not going to allow, for instance, young actresses to go and have auditions in a hotel room with someone in their bathrobe. Already completely unacceptable in my head, but I can't believe that was happening, but it was clearly. But now that everyone has spoken out and had the courage to speak out, because along with the speaking out comes some shame, some humiliation, and all of that. You could creep away with it. It could destroy you if you didn't have other women right at your back saying, no, go on, I'm right behind you, me too. Yeah. That has happened to me and we are no less for it. We need to get stronger and better and go forward, and no young woman will do that again, we hope. Without being informed about it, without being informed that you've got, power around you and you are empowered not to do it.
Yeah, it's a real sea change.
It is, and we're part of that. We're part of the history of that, and I feel also that we have to be gentle with those women, because part of the strength is in the gentle, in a way. Yeah. The part of the mighty is accepting that you must feel awful that happened to you, and I'm sorry that it did. That's what we need to do first, is say, oh, you must, this is dreadful for you, and I'm acknowledging that is dreadful. As another woman, I can't even begin to imagine what that must have felt like. So now I'm going to think about that. I'm going to be sorry that it happened, but I'm going to respect you for whatever comes next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's lovely to hear you talk about women coming together, because when I've met you before and you talked about your best friend and how she's this absolute pillar. Yeah. And obviously there's Jennifer. Yes. And you have these kind of wonderful female friendships.
I do.
That are still very, and in the book it's clear that they're very important
to
you.
They absolutely are. Especially the women. I've got, a few male friends that also qualify in this department, but it is mainly women that I realise are my kind of scaffolding, and that have supported me through everything, and I hope that I'm part of their scaffolding too. And it's such a privilege to be that, isn't it? It's quite a responsibility, but the kind of responsibility that you relish. you know, my best friend has always said to me, any time of night or day, however far away I am, you know, there is never a time when you can't call me, and there is never a time I wouldn't drop everything and be with you. Consequently, I have never had to ask her to do that. I mean, you know, God willing, I may not ever have to ask you, but I know I could. And because I know I could, that's the strength. Yeah. There's the scaffolding right there. Yeah. So, you know, when you know that to be true, you're stronger.
Yeah, and I guess what I love that you're saying is that women together are mighty.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, no women on her own is mighty.
But look what women do. Even just look at birth. It's extraordinary. You know, you know, when I look at a lot of women my age now are dealing with the loss of perhaps their own mothers and fathers, obviously, but they're stepping up the ladder a bit, you know, and I've had to do that. You know, I suddenly realize I'm nobody's daughter anymore, and that's a very bizarre position to be in, because, you know, if you've got a parent alive, you are somebody's child, even though you're not a child anymore. It's a very important dynamic in your family. Yeah. And when you suddenly realize, I'm the mother now. Yeah. I'm the provider. I'm the one that people look to. They're coming up the ladder behind me, and I'm further up that ladder. Yeah. But, you know, there's strength in that as well. And I'm watching other women dealing with their losses and so on, but supporting each other through it. It's good.
You're so openly reflective about your life. I wonder if we could talk a little bit about looking back on your career, because you're saving Christmas this year, yes. So I understand. It's the 30th anniversary of Jennifer Saunders. You're going to be on TV on behalf of the nation. Thank you.
Okay.
What's that like to be, firstly, a 30th anniversary, to be back, and then a little bit about perhaps how is the material different? You know, like there's surely a lot of right material in today's world.
Well, that's true. I mean, you know, like a lot of things that happen with Jennifer and I, it was almost accidental that this has happened, almost accidental that we got together, almost accidental that we, you know, were given the opportunities we were at the time where we were. And Jennifer and I had a friendship first. We shared a flat together first. So our friendship is the foundation.
And I love that bit in the book, just as an aside, where you talk about flat sharing and the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
there are many pros and cons of both. Yeah, and some of the pros are also the cons. I can't remember them exactly. I'll have to look at the book to find them out. But anyway, that's true. So we were always friends, and we always will be friends. And you know, the work in a funny way, you know, on reflection, the work has been a way for us to legitimately spend a lot of time together, doing the thing we would be doing whether we were working or not. Amazing. Which is having a laugh, you know, which a lot of women do, don't they? But somehow we seem to have made a career out of showing off. So that's quite, I suppose that's why, although I take it seriously in as much as I want the work to be good, we have to keep a lightness to it so that it's still fun.
But do you still, even now, I mean, yes, perhaps you're saying that you just were there in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, to begin with,
To begin with. But now, you almost still seem like the whole thing's a happy accident.
Yeah, because I would hate for it ever to become a chore or a duty or a job or anything like that. It always needed to feel childlike, in the dressing up box, slightly misbehaving. That's what it needs to feel like. And you know, if you start categorizing it too much, you know, or even unpicking it, analyzing it, it suddenly isn't that anymore. And so weirdly, when we came to doing this show, which was presented to us as it's a clip show, and then we thought, how do we do that? Why don't we make a compilation of all of those characters, like the extras, for instance, who are favourite characters of ours. Let's do a little compilation of lots of those, and then we'll do a new extras sketch. So we've done that. They're in Poldark, by the way. Then, you know, let's do lots of White Room entrances. You know, I'll come in as Pocahontas, I'll come in with a big ear on my head, I'll come in with a giant's baby, and then we'll come in and I'll be in The Handmaid's Tale now. You know, or I'll be Wonder Woman or whatever. So that's how we've kind of strung it together. But we were only ever supposed to do 10 minutes of material, and we've ended up doing, you know, I don't know, 25 minutes, half an hour, apart from the old clips. So it's now become this much bigger show than it was ever supposed to be.
And is it like it always is? You know, where you have some of those friends, and even if you don't see them for 10 years,
absolutely. Back on the bike, you know, absolutely that. Yeah. And Jennifer and I know how to be together. You know, we have it's a kind of comedy marriage, isn't it? We want it to work. We want our friendship and our love to remain. So you just do endless forgiving. If she's a bit annoying, I just forgive it because I want to get past that bit. If I'm a bit annoying, which I know I am, you know, I can see when it happens. But you sort of negotiate those moments and you think, well, I want to take the best of you. I want to have a good time. So let's just park that. I mean, I suppose what we hadn't done until we came to being in the studio was that we hadn't really looked back much. I don't think I do that very often. I think I've got forward energy rather than reflective energy. I do sometimes for something like this book. I'm happy to sit and reflect on my life a bit. But when it comes to career, it feels very un-British or something. I've got my mother's voice in my ear going, oh, don't be boasting or looking or patting yourself on the back.
Hard.
Yes, keep working hard going forward.
Yeah.
So that felt a bit odd.
Finally, I wonder if I could ask you, kind of being, you know, when you look at your novels and your books, there's something a bit more quiet and creative and reflective.
Yes.
And I know with the programme we've just been talking about, but do you still have that urge to make people laugh? Is that what has driven you? Is that still there?
Yes.
I feel like we've seen a quieter
Yes,
dawn in recent times.
I think I'm now the more authentic me than I've ever been, and I think it's something to do with, I haven't quite thought this through, so bear with me, but I think it's something to do with the fact that as a young person, my dad was in the RAF, so we moved a lot, and sometimes we moved every 6 months. So I'd go to a new school, new friends, new place, new house. So I had to slightly put on a fireworks display of personality to make sure I was in a gang of friends and nobody left me out and I didn't get bullied and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I did that classic comedian thing of being the funny one to do that. And I learned that was how I related to people. And in a way, that's not the real me. I can do that and I quite enjoy that and I'm in control of that, so that's good. But the real me is actually quite quiet. It doesn't mean to say that I'm not funny in my quiet times. It's just a different kind of more grown-up thing with the occasional showing of the arse.
Still there.
Still there, whenever I feel like it, yeah.
Oh, well, Dawn, it's an absolute privilege.
Oh,
I can't tell you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.